This episode is brought to you by HASA. Liquid is clearly better. Liquid chlorine is the highest purity, works immediately, has no added cyanuric acid or calcium, and it will leave your pool safe, clean, and clear. And by the Bottom Feeder professional grade battery powered vacuum system. It sucks to clean pools, so cleaning pools sucks less. Get $100 off with code DVB100.
This episode is brought to you by Skimmer, the #1 pool service software in North America. With Skimmer, you can streamline your schedule, grow your revenue, and keep your customers coming back with 5-star service. Whether you're a one-person operation or an established team, Skimmer is your partner in success. Visit getskimmer.com/poolguy to try Skimmer for free for 30 days.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show.
Hi, welcome to the Pool Guy Podcast Show. In this episode, I'm going to go over some ways to fine-tune your business plan, your business strategy, to be more successful out there. Of course, the pool industry, there's a lot of different avenues you can take, but I'm going to really push that you focus on just one or two services, and by being focused, you're going to be much more successful. Are you a pool service pro looking to take your business to the next level? Join the Pool Guy Coaching Program. Get expert advice, business tips, exclusive content, and get direct support from me. I'm a 35-year veteran in the industry. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, I've got the tools to help you succeed. Learn more at swimmingpoollearning.com. So logically speaking, pool service is a service, and most pool service companies will primarily focus on the service end. This is your weekly service accounts, whether it's full service or tiered service or chemical only. And by the way, I think it's really important that you offer different tiered service in your area. There are different pool owners that maybe can do a lot of the pool care themselves, but they want someone to do the chemicals and maintain those for them every week. They don't want to mess with going to the pool store, picking up chemicals, or doing the readings, and they'll hire someone to do that. And chem-only stops can be pretty lucrative, and they can be pretty much something that's going to make your day relaxing. Sometimes when you're doing, 12 full service accounts, and then you're ending your day with 3 or 4 chem-only stops. So it's something to consider. Offering tiered service as a way to expand your business into new territories. You can do a chem-only with skimming and brushing, a chem-only with cleaning the baskets, and there's all different things you can do to kind of reach the market in your area. So I wouldn't lose focus that you should be primarily setting up a weekly pool service where you're getting a certain amount of service accounts every month and thereby getting a steady income. I wouldn't discount the steady income. It's something that's pretty vital. I know people that kind of get away from this and are doing more repairs and different things, but when you run into a dry season where you're not getting as many repair calls or you're not getting as many extra services, it could really be a major setback in that case as far as having being able to budget around that kind of thing. And with the monthly service accounts, you're guaranteed a certain amount of money each month, and that's kind of your base to work off of in your business. It's just like any other business where if you have a certain set income that's coming in, it's something that you can rely on to set your budget around, and then everything extra, of course, you can utilize that money in different areas of your business. But I would say primarily focusing on the service is key. There's a lot of guys out there that just actually do the monthly service accounts and they don't do anything else besides that. And they've been doing this for 20, 30 years and they're highly successful. Now, the person that trained me way back in 1988, he also had a similar philosophy, and 90% of all his work was just the monthly service accounts, cleaning the pools, and then of course doing the filter cleaning when necessary. And as far as repairs went, he could easily do everything himself. He was an expert repairing everything out there, installing automation. They were really basic back then. It was the Aqualink, really old Aqualink system was the most basic system they had. They didn't even have Pentair automation at that point. And he could do all that, but he realized that his time was better served getting more weekly service accounts, and that would add to more money every month, guaranteed basically, to have that income. So there is something to be said with not overly focusing, but being really focused on having a good baseline income based on your weekly service accounts. And you can survive pretty well by just doing pool service and nothing else. It's not rocket science. You really don't have to worry about too much as far as repairs. If you have to put a pump or filter in, there are plenty of repair-only technicians out there. I have a couple in my area that just do repairs only, and that's all they do, which is pretty safe as well. If you're going to outsource your repairs to a company, if they don't have pool service accounts of their own, they're less likely to upsell the customer and try to get them to switch over to their company. This happens a lot out there. When you're referring out to another pool company, they'll tell the customer, well, your pool guy's not doing a very good job and he can't even repair this, and I do repairs and service, so if you switch to me, you're going to be better off. That does happen out there, so be cautious of who you work out to. If they're a repair-only company, even better. Now, I wouldn't shy away from referring business to, say, something like Leslie's Pool Supply, where they do repair work and they don't have service accounts. In fact, a lot of people are hesitant to jump into the pool service industry because they're like, I can't fix anything. I don't know how to do any repairs. That's really not a handicap. And there's a good way to explain this to the customer. And this is something that is important to know, and is something that is highly effective. I would just tell the customers, I do weekly pool service. My whole job is focused on making sure that the chemicals in the pool are balanced, that the pool is safe to swim in, that the pool is clean, that the pool's not going to have any staining or any problems. And if anything breaks, I have this particular person that I refer to. The reason why I do this is so I can stay focused on one thing, which is maintaining your pool in the best state it can be. Also, my repairman is much more available than me. I have pools Monday through Friday, and so if something were to break, I'll just call him. He can come out usually the same day, and he's very reasonable as far as his pricing. And so we can have your pool up and running usually in the same day or the next day. Whereas if I do the repair, I may not be able to schedule it for a few days out. And it's something that I really want to focus on service. And I have a dedicated repair person that, is certified, and he can do the repairs for me. And that's kind of my business model. And it's been effective, and all my customers like it. They like the fact that if something breaks, I can get a service technician out there right away to fix it. And the Pool Guy Podcast Show has teamed up with UPA to bring you affordable, reliable liability insurance starting at just $64 a month. Get up to $2 million in coverage, and the members of my coaching group get an even lower rate. Protect your business and your peace of mind. Sign up with UPA today by clicking the link in the podcast description. And there's something that you can explain to the customer, as in any form you want. You could take that basic outline I just talked about there and expand on it, contract on it, whatever you want to do. But really, you can do pool service and really not do repairs and be successful. Now, of course, there are minor things you should know how to fix. You should be able to unclog a jammed impeller. You should be able to get a pool primed without any problems if the pool lost its prime. And you should be able to clean the filters, change out broken grids, simple things like that. Should be something you can do. And if you want to refer out, time clock upgrades or repairs, pump motor installs and replacements, filter and heaters, that's perfectly fine. And again, you can make pretty good money just doing service. Now, I spent a lot of time on that because this is one of the key things that I wanted to address, because a lot of pool service companies do way too much. You ever go into a mom and pop burger place and you're standing there looking at the menu and you're standing there for 5 minutes because they have like 95 items on the menu. They have 8 different burgers, and they have 5 different chicken sandwiches, and they have like gyros, or I think they're called gyros, I think they're called that, or gyros. They have so much stuff on the menu that you just can't decide what you want. But then you walk across the street, if you're in any western state, you go to In-N-Out Burger, and they have just two items on the menu. Basically, they have hamburgers and fries. I wouldn't consider the drinks or shakes an item. And basically, you have two choices. Do you want a double burger or a single burger? Of course, you can do animal style and do all kinds of different things with it. But basically, that's all they have, and it makes things easier. Now, the same thing with your pool service business. If you're doing weekly service, you're doing repairs, you're doing equipment installs, new installs, you're doing, startups, you're doing acid washes, you're doing green pool cleanups, you're doing one-time cleanups. All of this is too much, in my opinion, and you're totally out of focus at that point. Now, when you're starting out and you have maybe 15 service accounts, of course you have time to do acid washes, green pool cleanups, one-time cleanups, installs, because your day is not full. Unless, of course, you're transitioning from another industry and you're working full-time somewhere else, then you don't have that extra time. But if you're just doing pool service and you're starting out and you're building up your route, maybe you bought a partial route of 20 pools and you want to add to that, and you're not really doing anything full-time, you have a small part-time job, then certainly you can do a lot of multitasking and go out there and do all of these different activities. However, there is a tipping point, and that is when you're at, let's say, 60 service accounts, and then you're still running around doing acid washes, green pool cleanups, installs. It gets to a point where it really is not worth your money at that point based on the amount of time you can fill with weekly service accounts. For example, if you're doing acid washes and green pool cleanups, that does take a large block of your time. They can be very time consuming and frustrating sometimes when you're dealing with those kind of things. But why not, when you have 65 accounts, be hyper focused on getting to 80 accounts? That's 15 more accounts. And let's just say you charge $180 a month, just to be fair here. That's $2,700 more a month you're adding to your income by adding 15 more accounts. You times that by 12, and that's $32,400 you're adding to your bottom line just by adding those 15 accounts, stopping all the acid washes, stopping all the green pool cleanups, maybe cutting back on some of the repairs and installs. And then you could bring on an employee, give them some accounts, and expand a little bit more. And you can see how this can be much more lucrative, especially if you have tiered service where you're doing some chemical-only services, some chemical and net services. You can definitely add more accounts and do more pools and make pretty good money doing those lower tiered services as well, and kind of fill your day with those service accounts. I think it's a better model in a lot of cases. And I've said this before, and I'll say it here again, that if you are doing a lot of repairs, let's say you have pool service from Monday through Thursday and you leave Friday open for 3-day weekends or repairs, I think a lot of times you have to realize that these repairs are very seasonal, and you have to be doing repairs for other people as well, because with like 70 accounts, there's not going to be enough repair and install revenue that you can generate with those accounts. And you have to advertise for new accounts or new repair work. And that's a lot of effort and work going out there, bidding someone's property, getting the equipment and installing it. To me, you're better served with maybe building up some of those service accounts on those days, Monday through Thursday, maybe adding a few chemical-only stops, maybe a few regular stops, and you can have Friday off, and you can do repairs if you want, but why not just take a 3-day weekend every week and have your service route without having to worry about all the stress that comes with getting repairs and doing repairs. Now, if you like doing repairs, and some guys do like doing repairs, why not become more of a repair-only type company where maybe you have a small route of 30 pools, you have 2 days of pools, then you spend 2 or 3 days doing repairs. That model works really effectively, and you may get to a point where you just dump all your pools entirely and do repairs Monday through Friday. You may like that. You might make more money doing that. It may give you more freedom, and especially if you're older and you don't want to do weekly service anymore, but you have a lot of skills, you have a lot of install skills and repair skills that you want to utilize. Trust me, in my area, a repair-only company gets so busy in the summertime that my guy that I use 2 different guys actually. One of the guys I use can get up to 3 weeks behind on repairs. Unless it's an emergency, he can squeeze it in. But other than that, he's so backed up on installs and repairs and working for builders, putting in equipment, that he has no time to really do a lot of work. So you can hook up with a builder, do all of their installs on the job site, and you can do remodel installs. There's so many possibilities with the repair-only service that is pretty endless, and the pool service accounts may get in your way at that point if you get big enough with the repair only. I don't think you can do both equally well. You have to be leaning heavily on one or the other. So if you are service oriented, maybe 80% is your weekly service, then 20% is repairs and installs. And I do believe that a dedicated day for that, a Friday or Thursday or Monday would not be bad either. A lot of customers don't like their weekly service on a Monday. So if you want to leave Monday for repairs, that's perfectly fine. And then you have a 3-day weekend if you need it available there. But I don't really like doing weekly service and repairs during the same day. Chances are something's going to go wrong and it's going to put you behind, and then you're going to race through the rest of your service accounts and not do a good job or be frustrated. So if you are going to do repairs along with service, I think a dedicated repair day is the best model to work off of, instead of adding it to a service day where you have 14 stops already. Also keep in mind that a lot of states require you to have a subcontractor's license to do repairs over $500. Here in California, you'll need to get the D35 license. It's pretty easy to get. You just have to have someone vouch for you and then take the course. And it's not a super hard course. It's not like a general contractor's license, but it is a pool subcontracting license in California. And there are a few schools that offer the courses, and you can get certified. You have to have a certain amount of experience, but again, a lot of times they'll help you with that aspect of it to get licensed. Once you're licensed, then you can really expand your repair-only company if you wanted to go that direction, or you can start cutting back on your pool routes and expand into more repairs. But just keep in mind that in some states like Florida, they do watch carefully if you are a contractor or not. In California, it's kind of weird. Our state regulates everything, but they don't really look that carefully at licensing. And so that's something to be aware of. If you are doing any kind of installs over $500, in most states, that requires you to have a pool subcontracting license. Of course, you can get a general contracting license if you want, and you can start installing and building pools, but that's a whole nother category, and I'm not going to get into that here. But like I said, you want to be focused in one or two areas only. If you want to do pool service and acid washes and green pool cleanups and not do repairs, that's perfectly fine. Sometimes the income from acid washes and green pools are pretty good, and having a dedicated day for those is also pretty good. But if you want to just do pool service only and don't do anything else, you can actually build a pretty substantial route and have that guaranteed income. The only problem with repairs, green pool cleanups, acid washes is that money's not guaranteed every month. It fluctuates. Some months may be a boom month where you're getting tons of income from it and it's looking great. Other times of the year, especially here in California, I would say November through February, very slow, and you're not going to get a lot of work at that time. So it may be even different in other states. I know there's a lot of states where you only have a 4-month season. So carefully analyze what's best for your business. Come up with a business model that utilizes your time in the most effective way, and then run with it. Take off and just kill it with those one or two categories of service that I think you're going to be really successful at, rather than juggling multiple services. Looking for other podcasts, you can find those very easily by subscribing to my YouTube channel Monday through Friday. I post a new episode there. Also, if you wanted to go to my website, swimmingpoollearning.com, on the banner, there's a podcast icon, and then there'll be a drop-down menu of 1,700 podcasts there for you. And if you're interested in the coaching program that I offer, you can learn more at poolguycoaching.com. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless. This episode is brought to you by HASA, providing products that deliver clean, healthy water for every aspect of everyday life. The bottom feeder battery-powered vacuum system, portable, powerful, and only weighs 12 pounds. And Skimmer. Get Skimmer, America's #1 pool service software. Podcast listeners can try Skimmer for free at getskimmer.com/poolguy.